Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Crockett Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to the episode of the WARZONE and get on the phone and call somebody and tell them the great one is in the building. Who am I? I'm the 5-star general. Tonight we gonna talk about the 18th Congressional District election race between Shelia Jackson Lee and Carmen Maria Montiel. Is it time for Shelia Jack to go? We're going to find out tonight. Let's get to it. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the WARZONE and tell you thank you for taking the time out to tune in, because you know without you guys, I would not have a show. So I appreciate you taking the time out to hang out with your boy, the 5-star general. Let me get these privacy settings set. And then we'll go from there. That was another school shooting hoax over in Klein today, and they expeditiously expelled, not suspended, expelled the person that called in the hoax. And I applaud Klein ISD, because we have to put a stop to this. These kids do not have to be traumatized when they go to school with these fake school shooting hoaxes. And one of the first school districts I've seen to do something like that, they just didn't leave it up to law enforcement. But that person or whoever that was that called in the fake shooting hoax at Klein, they are definitely expelled from school. Maybe you can homeschool them now. Who gives a damn? But at the end of the day, Klein addressed it the right way. It's election season, and I want you guys to push your share button on this video and get ready for an exciting hour of commentary for me tonight to give to you what I feel is what you need, some inside information to the election season. So almost every single night, I'm going to pick a race that I want to talk about, and at the end of me talking about it, I'll decide who I want to endorse, because my endorsements carry weight, especially in the African American community. They carry weight, and my people, you can trust me, because there is no ill thoughts or feelings or anything when I give out the information. I research my candidates, and then I make an informed decision of who I'm going to endorse. And if I endorse them, if I can vote for them, I'm going to vote for them. But if I can't vote for them, I need you to vote for them. Now, you know, for 28 years, Shelia Jackson Lee has been a staple in Congressional District 18. And, you know, some people love her, some people hate her. Some people rock with her, some people dislike her. They say she's a camera hawk. She won't change her hairstyle. She won't do this. She won't do that. You know, some publications have even said that she is the meanest congressional person in Washington, D.C., and one of the hardest to work for. That's Shelia Jackson Lee, 28 years, from what I understand, a Jamaican immigrant. You know, she's really not from here, but that carries no weight with me. If you're in the United States of America and you're serving a purpose, then we're going to rock with you. She is running against Carmen Maria Montiel. I've had the opportunity to be around Shelia for many years. I've had the opportunity to have sit-downs with Carmen, because I wanted to find out who was Carmen Maria Montiel. And my thing, and if I'm saying her last name wrong, forgive me. I'm bad with that. And of course, I'm in a lot of pain. So, you know, some things ain't gonna come out right. And for those, I want to say thank you for sending me the well wishes. As you get older, your body does different things. As you get older, your body does different things. and you have to take better care of yourself. And I've been trying to do that, and it's just I'm at that point where there's no cartilage in my knee anymore. So thank you for sending me the well wishes. We'll be back up and running. I gotta stay on bed rest the rest of the week, and we'll be okay. But back to what I was talking about. This is a question from one of our audience members, D. Harris, good friend of mine. She say, who is she? She's speaking of Carmen. Well, that is a common problem when you're running against people like Shelia Jackson Lee, Al Green, Rodney Ellis. Normally people don't know who the opponent is. I get it. But we do know a lot of days that the people that are in office ain't did jack shit for us. So I really wouldn't give a damn in some of these races if trained monkeys were running, as long as they get them out of office. I don't give a damn if you find a little Martian from Mars to come and run against Rodney Ellis. I'd vote for the Martian any day of the week. But we're going to talk about Shelia Jackson Lee. 28 years she's been in office. 28 years. And when I'm getting ready to talk that talk, I got to fire up one. 28 years she's been in office. Does the community look the same? Has things gotten better? Have they gotten worse? For 28 years, our communities look the same. For 28 years, things have not gotten better. So my question now becomes, and it's totally up to you, why would you keep voting for the same person if nothing is being done? Are you the stupid black voter that they claim you to be? Are you the one that what's my name, Lyndon B. Johnson? If we can get them to vote Democrat, we'll have them voting Democrat for the next 200 years. Is that the person you are? Let's just be truthful. It's not that I don't like Shelia on a personal level. I don't know the Congress lady on a personal level. I've taken a couple of pictures with her when I was a Democrat. I'm no longer a Democrat, so I don't take pictures with them. But she seems to show up at the right time all the time. She seems to show up when the cameras are blazing. But yet our community looks the same as it did 28 years ago. Well, not her community where she lives. On McGregor, the Black River Oaks, her community doesn't look the same, but yours does. Crime is through the roof. And a lot of people, and here's the thing, people will say, well, she's not responsible for that. Well, why you keep poking your nose in our business? Why when something happens and it's not at the congressional level, she's involved in it, but when you got the check on it, oh, she's not responsible for it. No. She's responsible for it, because if I get to digging off into the funding for the Houston Police Department coming from DC, yes, she's responsible for it to a certain degree. But for 28 years, we've lived in solitude in the African-American community. We've lived in uncertainty in the African-American community under the leadership of Shelia Jackson Lee, who can tell you who you need to vote for in every single race, but yet nothing changes. Nothing changes. You are nothing more to somebody like Shelia Jackson Lee but a broke, turkey-grabbing Negro whose vote is secure because she knows how to placate you. Carmen Maria Montiel is genuine. I've sat and I've talked to her. So let's get something straight. She hasn't given me a dime to say what I'm saying. I've researched her. I see the work that she does. I mean, what does it take for a Latino to want to go and clean up the first Negro cemetery in Houston? Because she just doesn't like the way that it looks. Why don't the Negro Congress lady go out there and clean up her people's cemetery? But the Latina is willing to do it. Not because of political aspirations, but because she sees the need. She sees the need to have it done. who's more concerned with education? Carmen is very involved in schools. Trust me, this is how I connected. We've had talks about the educational sector and what we can do to help fix this thing. You know, if you make it to state rep, Mr. Monroe, and I make it to Congress, we need to work together on rebuilding education in the state of Texas. You see what I'm saying? Let's read some comments. Lori Dunn has just put up a comment, so I'm gonna post her comment. And Lori says, I heard she's a horrible person. One of her workers told me that American Airlines don't want her on their plane. Worker booked a ticket for her. She usually likes this airline's food. She got the tray and threw the tray at the stewardess. Food went everywhere and got on other passengers as well. I would have never expected such. The lady said she quit after 45 days. She said she couldn't take it. Well, Lord, that's some of the horror stories that we hear. So if you don't have any respect for the people that work under you, why are you going to have respect for the people you represent? Let's go on over to Fifth Ward and Cashmere Garden. Let's look at this cancer cluster thing. That's federal. That's up her alley. What has she done to make sure that those people are safe in Northeast Houston? What has she done? How has she pushed the button to make sure that those people are safe? The Democrats are too busy right now trying to connect every single Republican candidate to Donald Trump. Who gives a damn if Carmen Maria Montiel supported Donald Trump or she likes Donald Trump? We're talking about the work that Shelia Jackson Lee has not done for her own district. This is what we're talking about. She ran a few years ago against a very formidable opponent. And good dude, man. I can't remember his name right off. But what has changed since the last time she ran? Nothing. Nothing. So, good Negro, turkey grabbing voter, when are you going to wake up? Now, they've redistricted Congressional District 18, and there's more Latinas in that district. So I'm going to challenge my Latino brothers and sisters to go out and support their sister, Carmen Maria Montiel, against Shelia Jackson Lee. It can't get any worse. It can only get better. Carmen wants to do the work. She doesn't have time for the schemes, and and that's what I tell people, and they need to understand it, that money comes with politics. Let's get that straight. You might go into office broke and come out a multimillionaire. Money comes with politics, but what you cannot do is not take care of the people. Carmen Maria Montiel, candidate, Congressional District 18, is not a politician. She's a public servant. There's a big difference. See, you can tell us public servants for politicians any day of the week. You know why? Because we can't be bought. We just do the work. We can't be bought. So me, I'm not a politician. I'm a public servant. For me, it's simple. It's simple. Carmen Maria Montiel over Shelia Jackson Lee. And I need for you guys to really pay attention. I need you to understand that these people don't show up in our neighborhoods and act like we are important until it's election time. These people do not attend our churches until it's election time. Poor Black people are not important until it's election time. Once these people get into office, we are a forgotten entity. Are you tired of that? Are you tired of that? Are you sick and tired of that? If these people have so much to say and they've done so much work, when is Shelia Jackson Lee going to accept the challenge to debate Carmen Maria Montiel in an open forum. She can't do that. She hasn't done the work. Wendell Champion, that's his name, Becky, ran against Shelia. Why won't Shelia debate Carmen Maria Montiel? It's simple. The little Venezuelan lady that I'm so enamored with right now, with her passion to help fix our communities, would eat her alive. The fancy talking 28th year Congress lady can't hold that conversation. I'm sorry, but she can't. Once again, this is not a personal attack. This is just me telling the truth. See, because there are things that may come out in that conversation that she doesn't want to come out. There are things that may come out in that conversation that the Congresswoman doesn't want to come out. Maybe it might be the mobile COVID sites that she was tied to, where she was making tons of money. Maybe it might be the hospital that was going to lose their accreditation, where poor Black people were going with the COVID and were mysteriously dying. Maybe it might be her ties to the Texas Education Agency and how she got North Forest ISD. She was one of the people that helped close that school district. And that community has never recovered. And the crime rate is 152% higher than the national average. She can't have that discussion with Carmen. She can't have it. Not in an open forum, because she would be eaten alive. Maybe she just may show up and her people may show up and finally have enough of her and start tearing her ass up in an open forum. You remember when it flooded? You remember when it flooded? You remember how they wouldn't open the churches? And then I jumped on social media and threatened to go to these people's churches. And then the next day, mysteriously, all the churches started opening and taking care of the people. Why didn't Congress lady do that? Because those are her friends. She can't have that discussion because it might come up that she has been tied to voter harvesters, that these people have been being investigated thoroughly, I know, for the last year, by the Texas Attorney General, by private entities, by the FBI, the people who worked her campaign. So for those that say they don't cheat in elections, why can't she have this open discussion? She was tied to the voter harvesters who worked the campaigns of some of the more prominent African American and Latino politicians that sit in office right now. Yes, she was tied to Deborah Adams. Yes, she was tied to Charles Ray Jones. Yes, she was tied to dead people who voted for her in the last election cycle, who had been dead for 10 to 15 years. She can't have that conversation with Carmen. What we have to do is understand that America is evolving. And we need some change agents in office. Yes, we are going to have to change out some of these politicians. And you know what I say about them. I call them, Shelia Jackson Lee is one of them, funky draws politicians. It's time for us to change our funky draws. You know what every last one of us, whether we wear boxers, briefs, panties, whatever, when the draws get funky, you got to change them. And funky draws Shelia Jackson Lee needs to go. She has not done anything for the community, whether you're Black, white, Latino, whatever, immigrant, whatever. She has, for a fact, been one of those people that wanted to keep the borders open. You see how that's working for us, huh? You're letting these killers come over the border, and everybody that come over the border is not a killer. But you have some MS-13s and you have some Colombian killers coming over the border, and they want to keep that border open. And now look how unsafe Congressional District 18 is. Look how unsafe Harris County and the city of Houston is. Look how unsafe the state of Texas is. Shelia Jackson Lee is one of those people that have put us in the position that we are in today. So for almost 8 years, Shelia Jackson Lee, along with other politicians, have done nothing but waste taxpayers' money to try to go after Donald Trump, and they can't seem to get him. You're doing that while we got veterans that don't have a decent quality way of life anymore. You're doing that while we have people whose homes have not been fixed from Hurricane Harvey. You're taking taxpayer money to chase after Donald Trump, and you can't get him while people are losing their houses coming out of this pandemic. But you made sure to take care of your friends with your mobile COVID testing sites. Lady, don't never come for me. Yeah, tell us how much each one of your friends would make every time somebody took a COVID test. Your drive-through COVID sites, mobile COVID sites. How much was they making on every test that these people who were scared to death would take? How much were they making? How much money did you make off that hospital? You were there supporting that new hospital at Reliance Stadium that never opened. $45 to $80 to $90 million on a building in a hospital, a pop-up hospital that never opened. And now this lady is saying, send me back to Congress. How much did you fight for us to get any funding during the pandemic when the Republicans wanted to give people $10,000 for a stimulus check, and you were one of the ones rocking with the people saying, no, let's send them $1,200? And y'all guys want a hurricane? No, my endorsement goes to Carmen Maria Montiel. And that's what it is, man. Latina or not, she gives a damn about people. She cares about people. Shelia Jackson Lee is a funky draws politician. And it's time for us to change our funky draws. I'm just telling you what it is. So if you want to go out there and be the stupid, black, turkey grabbing voter because they think we're stupid, they can show up and give us turkeys and all that. And at the end of the day, you don't have anything. You're crying, you're complaining, and nothing is being done because you keep sending the same people to Washington, to Austin, downtown Houston, that are not doing anything for us. Shelia Jackson Lee is a joke. She is a joke. And that's all it boils down to. We need a change agent. We need somebody that can speak to the black people. We need somebody that can speak to the Latino community. We need somebody that can speak to the white community. We need somebody that can speak to all Texans. We need somebody that can speak to the United States of America. Shelia Jackson Lee stands in line with Joe Biden, complaining about Governor Greg Abbott, who's putting immigrants on buses. Abbott, DeSantis in Florida, Ducey in Arizona are now sending these people that are coming over the border to Washington, D.C., Chicago, and everywhere else. And now everybody in those cities are complaining. Why? This ain't a Texas problem. This is an American problem. This is not an Arizona problem. This is an American problem. This is not a Florida problem. This is an American problem. So Governor Abbott, for example, just had a bus sent close to Kamala Harris's house. Since you want them in the United States of America, coming in there undocumented, getting help that us here now can't even get. Well, let's drop them off at your front door. Kudos to Abbott, man. We can't take all these people into Texas. But Shelia has been one of the main ones that wants to make these cities sanctuary cities. If you want to come to the United States of America, come the right way. So my question to you, y'all that's out there, I'm talking to y'all. Are you tired? Do you want change? Let's start with that. I don't care if you're Latino. I don't care if you're Latino. You know why? Because you know damn well Hidalgo needs to go. Alexander Miller needs to be in office. Congressional District 18, you know damn well Shelia Jackson Lee needs to go. Y'all been complaining about it for the last 2 years. Last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, last 28 years. So Carmen Maria Montiel should be sent to Congress. She should be sent to Congress so we can have a fighting chance of getting our city, our state back in order. Well, Mr. Monroe, are you gonna just support just just Republicans on the war zone? The war zone is a nonpartisan program. Nonpartisan program. I get to support who I want. I'm not controlled by any entity at all. I can't keep believing that we have to keep sending the same people back to office that are not doing anything for us. I can't believe that lie anymore. I can't believe that lie since 1995. What the hell has Shelia Jackson Lee done for Congressional District 18? You have people literally dying of cancer in 5th Ward and Cashmere Garden, and you've not made this a priority. Your priority is chasing after Donald Trump. When y'all didn't get him the first year he was in office, you should have went on about your business and started taking care of people. But 7 years later, you're still chasing the ghost. You're still chasing the ghost. But in the meantime, people are homeless. People are starving. The cost of living is going up. They're not making more money. Contrary to popular opinion, there's jobs out there. Yeah, if you want to work fast food. But how long can you survive and take care of your family with these people in office? And while we're struggling, while we're trying to put a meal together during the pandemic, they're not paying for gasoline to put in their car, no matter how much it costs. They're not worrying about the cost of food because they take care of themselves. They run around and they take pictures. They go to functions with the same people over and over. They honor each other back and forth while we sit back and don't get a damn thing for our vote. The lie that's been told since the civil rights movement is people have died to make sure that we got the right to vote. No, people died to make sure that we got something for our vote. When I told you 2 years ago, voting for Joe Biden would be one of the biggest mistakes that you made, people laughed at me. We just want Trump out of office. How that shit working out for you right now? Every time you go to gas station and you got to put $20 to $30 in because you don't have enough money to fill up your car, how does that work out for you right now? When you can't go and get the amount of groceries that you were getting when Trump was in office, how's that working out for you right now? We need somebody in office in Congressional District 18 that gives a damn about our veterans. We need to make sure that they have the mental health treatment that they actually need. We need somebody in Congressional District 18 that wants to make sure that our schools are safe. Somebody that will go to Washington, D.C. and do something about the Department of Education, who should not even be in existence at this point, to make sure that our children get a quality education. We need somebody in office that wants to be a change agent. And in Congressional District 18, that person is Carmen Maria Montiel. She has my endorsement. She has my support. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to do everything in my power to help get this lady in office. I'm going to do that. So y'all are kind of quiet tonight. What, am I stepping on some toes? Or are you waiting for Thanksgiving for your turkeys? My good friend Tamika Jones Motley, thank you for saying those good things about me today. And I am resting. But Tamika Jones Motley is a product of Northeast Houston. Tamika Jones Motley is a member of a great organization, One Houston, One Hood. No More Bloodshed over there with my sister Calandria Simpson Kemp, Kashima, my girl Cash, Will and Cash, them out there on the north side. Shelia Jackson Lee helped destroy North Forest Independent School District. Behind the scenes, she was standing in front of the microphones saying she was fighting for North Forest ISD. And the whole time, and I put the letter up over a year ago, that she honestly was working covertly behind the scenes with the Texas Education Agency to close that school district. I wonder how much money she made off that. I wonder how much under the table money she made off that. That's an assumption. But this is one of the people that helped destroy that. Garrett Brain asked, when are you going to talk about the county race and commissioner's court? I talked about the county race last night. No, Lena Hidalgo. Alexander Miller is the person that I'm endorsing. And I'm going to get into every single race, Garrett. No questions about it, my friend. I'm going to get into every single race, and I'm going to shock some people with the races that I get into. The next race I want to talk about is out in Fort Bend County for county judge, KP George versus Trevor Nelms. Yeah, man. I'm digging off into it. Garrett. But Shelia Jackson Lee was one of those people that helped destroy North Forest Independent School District. I never said anything about a black and brown coalition. Let's read your comment, D. Brown. Let's read your comment. D. Brown says, I disagree with you, brother. There is no black and brown coalition. I never said it was, and I'm not a part of one anyway. It's just us. And hell no, I don't like Shelia Jackson Lee. Kudos to you, my brother, because I don't either as a politician. It's suicide. We need to get her out and put our people back in. But when we put our people back in, they sell us out. Right now, our people is not on the ticket against her. So what are we supposed to do? Allow her to stay until our people? Get that? Wendell Champion was our people. When he ran against her, our people did not support our people. So we have to get somebody in there that can be a change agent. They don't have to be black. I have zero faith in the Negro politician for one reason. Let me break this down to you. Because ever since the Big Six sold us out in the civil rights movement, Negro politicians have sold us out. Negro politicians have sold us out. Garrett, D says, does she have money invested in KIPP schools? That I don't know, but I'll research it for you. Garrett Brain says, talk about the commissioner's court, and do you think it was a great idea for two Republicans not to show up? You goddamn right it was a great idea. Who the fuck want their taxes to keep going up? See, people only hear what Hidalgo them want you to hear. They're not going to tell you, oh, well, they did this, and this is why this has hurted us. Say, man, Commissioners Court got enough goddamn money to do whatever they want to do. Let me tell you how politics work. When people think there's not money to do this and that, there's more than enough money to do whatever needs to be done. Whatever they want to fix, they can fix in a heartbeat. So that does not have to be a $42 million deficit as it pertains to law enforcement in the county. They gave $40 million to Harris Health, supposedly to do something about violence. They haven't done anything. They got the 42 million, but they ain't done nothing. They got 40 million, but they ain't done nothing. Not 42 million, but 40 million. So they have more than enough money to fix any problem we have. Brian Gillespie says, bro, we need equity. It's all about equity. Equity is a word that to me does not exist. There shall never be equity. And we're going to have to accept that. We're 400 years behind when it comes to equity. And we don't have any Negroes in office that's trying to achieve the goal. So if we keep talking about it, all we're going to do is run ourselves crazy. We're going to run ourselves crazy. They can create equity with their eyes closed. There's more than enough money. You want to create equity? I tell you how you create it. Stop sending millions and billions of dollars to other countries to rebuild them because they're at war with Russia. That's how you create equity. It's U.S. money, spend it in the U.S. You want to create equity? Stop letting people come across the border and giving them $15,000 to get on their feet when they're giving me and Brian and everybody else $1,200. You want to create equity? We have been bamboozled for over 60 years by the same black politicians that ain't doing jack shit for us right now. And when they get out of office, they want to put their kids in office. They want to make this a generational situation. They want to make sure every one of their grandkids, their great-grandkids are taken care of, while me and your grandkids are dodging bullets on a daily basis. They're too busy with the bullshit. So let me tell you, this is what you need to clearly understand. My good friend Aubrey Taylor put an article out this morning or yesterday detailing how a Republican got caught up. I think he was a county commissioner or something, somewhere else, for cheating in the elections. There's a covert effort, and I've been saying it for the longest, where the Republicans are working with the Democrats to keep every last one of us, black, white, Latino, whatever, oppressed in these poor communities. If you don't make X amount of money, if you don't live in the affluent community, they're going to make sure you stay poor. It was a reason that they had to push this pandemic thing so hard. Because poor people generate money. The demise of poor people is a cash cow for the local politicians. Yes, I would love to have African Americans in these seats. But God damn it, I'll take an intellectual white boy in a day of the week that just want to help the community. So do I have a problem with those two Republican commissioners not showing up to commissioner's court? No, because I understand why they didn't. They don't want to raise taxes. Can we afford another tax increase in Harris County? No. And you know another thing about Sheila Jackson Lee? You notice every time some white folk are Republican does something wrong, they're going to step out and they're going to condemn it. Why hasn't Sheila Jackson Lee stepped out and said anything about Pastor E.A. Deckard? She's done a lot of things at his church. And this is the same man that is a registered sex offender? Why hasn't Shelia Jackson Lee publicly denounced Rhonda Skilling Jones for what happened to her with the Houston Independent School District, for taking bribes? Why hasn't Shelia Jackson Lee stepped out and said anything about that? Why hasn't Shelia Jackson Lee said anything about the disgraced staffer from Mayor Turner's office, William Paul Thomas, who was indicted by the feds about 2 to 3 weeks ago? Why hasn't she stepped out and said something? But if a Republican or a white person does a smidget of anything that they deem is wrong, they're going to open their mouth and Sheila's going to stand there and go to war. When they thought Scott Henry said something out of pocket out there in Sci-Fi, they all denounced Scott as a school board member. He needs to resign his position. But prior to that, a couple of weeks before that, Rhonda Skilling Jones got indicted by the feds. Not one word. But this is our black leadership that doesn't have a problem with our black leadership raping our black community blind. Carmen Maria Montiel versus Shelia Jackson Lee is a no-brainer, because if you ain't got shit for 28 years, you ain't gonna get shit for the next 2 to 4. I hate to use that terminology, but the truth is the truth. Let's go read some of these comments, guys. Oh man, let's back up. There we go. Tamika Jones Motley says, zero faith. History has proven our people will sell us out in a heartbeat. Brian Gillespie says, bro, we need equity. And D. Harris says, Sheila will tell you no schools will be closed down. Brian Gillespie says, yep, you're right. Abrevia Miller, exactly. Latory Timon said, you said something then. Lawrence Martin Jr., thank you, brother. Brian Gillespie said a lot of people moving out the hood because of it. Tamika Jones Motley, I hate to think of all these fake school threats as just another political ploy. I'm just saying the timing is sketchy. Thunder, good evening, 5-star. And Thunder says, I'm voting for Carmen. I'm voting for Carmen too. Ain't no questions about it. No questions about it. But we have to make sure that we're on top of the cheating. So I've devised a whole plan that actually works to help people like Carmen make sure that they don't get cheated in the next election. So you harvesters and you people that like to play the games, you are going to get caught up. See my good friend Cornbread, Jesse Hunter. What's up, my brother? He said 100. I mean, Cornbread lives in the hood. You know, Fifth Ward legend, man. What the fuck has Shelia Jackson Lee done for Fifth Ward? Why is it that when it comes to Fifth Ward, Texas, they get more help in Fifth Ward from Jay Prince, than they've ever gotten from Shelia Jackson Lee? James Prince can address crime better than anybody in the goddamn city when the politicians got all the resources and the money, but James has the voice. These people are joking. It's time for them to go. So I'm asking you to follow my lead in Congressional District 18. Carmen Maria Montiel has now been officially endorsed by the WARZONE and the 5-star General, because I know that she's going to get the job done. And the thing about it, man, is she's so approachable. She will sit down with you and have a general conversation. She will sit down and talk to you about the issues, but when she talks to you, she just doesn't talk about the issue. She provides solutions of how she can help fix that issue. This is what you want out of a politician. Somebody that has solutions to the problems, not somebody that's constantly spitting lies. Not Lawrence Martin Jr. said, I'm voting for all Republicans, bro. Sound like an African American to me. Because we sick and we tired of these lying motherfuckers. We sick and tired of them, man. See, you're dealing with somebody that lives in a big fancy mansion that has servants. And we out here struggling to put gas in our car. We out here trying to get any kind of help during the pandemic. When you got a congresswoman, one of the ones voting to send money overseas for people in the war that we ain't got shit to do with. Sheila will never come on the show. She's welcome to come on the show. But like I said, they can't sit down and talk to me. They can't sit down and do an open debate with their opponent because they're too afraid of what might come out of those discussions. Carmen doesn't have any skeletons in her closet. Carmen is a woman just like you women. A lot of you women who've dealt with domestic violence. She's a domestic violence survivor. She knows what it's like. And she's fought to put herself in a good position. And she wants every woman to succeed, whether it's working a job, whether it's starting their own business. I've had these discussions. You feel what I'm saying? So women, wrap your arms around her. Wrap your arms around her. African-American community, it's time for you to wake the hell up. Can we get something else out the deal besides some leg quarter, green beans, rice dressing, or a motherfucking turkey for our vote? I think we can. Because I think that you're going to wake up and you're going to start accepting the fact that we've been bamboozled. We have been bamboozled, my friends. And it's time for us to take care of that. You feel me? Trust me on this one. I'll put out the full slate. But in the meantime, I'm going to talk about different races every night. And we're going to have some fun while we're doing it. So get you a piece of paper every day. And I'm going to tell you who 5-star supporting. If you trust my intellect, if you trust my judgment, I've never lied to you. So I am going to bring Carmen on next week. And I want you to have your questions ready. I don't want them to be easy questions. I want them to be hard. She doesn't know what the questions are going to be. Watch what I tell you. She'll be able to answer every single one of them. It's a reason I'm the best in the business every night. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Say, man, you know what it is with me. Get on the phone. Wake your people up every night at 7 o'clock and tell them, Mama, there go that man. I am the 5-star general. Tomorrow night, one of the most highly contested races in the state of Texas. Trevor Nels versus KP George. Fort Bend County Judge. I'm going to break that shit down for you. Until then, I'll holler at you.